We're hearing that lawmakers were actually going to hold a poll this week. What are we expecting?
Well, yeah, they're going to be holding a public opinion survey over the next few days in order to determine how much of their supporters, how much of the pro-democracy camp supports them staying on or leaving when the legislature reconvenes next month for an extra year. China added that year as part of a plan to delay the elections that were supposed to have happened earlier this month, ostensibly because of the coronavirus outbreak that Hong Kong has been battling.
So they're essentially trying to work out if staying on means granting legitimacy to that decision. What would it mean if they let go of that platform? It's a pretty difficult position to be in.
Yeah, they're facing the same question that a lot of critics of China around the world are facing. It's whether to engage China, whether to engage Beijing under its own rules, or whether to check out of the existing dialogue paths or platforms and try to confront Beijing. Obviously, the Hong Kong Democrats are in a pretty weakened position after the passage of the national security law. Many of them argue, though, that it would be better to stay in and fight for what they think is important within the system than check out and lose their own legitimacy, their own legitimate platform. The problem with that is that their own supporters have been heavily weighted towards resigning. It's been seen as they would be giving legitimacy to the decision to deny the election for a year if they stayed on.
What does this mean for the future of the city? Of course, we have seen so much instability already.
Well, of course, Beijing and Hong Kong argue that the whole reason that they put in the national security law and that they've been cracking down on activism has been to reestablish stability. And by some measure, they could argue that it has, in that there are fewer protesters in the streets. Some of that is also because of the coronavirus and people's fears of spreading the virus if they're out, not to mention the rules that prevent people from gathering in crowds that have been in place for months now. So there's that argument on the side of the government. There are also those that worry that if people lose their legitimate platform in the LegCo, if they're not allowed to run because of disqualifications, or if they are forced to resign because of these own pressures within their own camp, that will just lead to more radical action in the future as people feel like their legitimate means of voicing dissent have been denied to them.